Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Saturday morning, and you know what time it is. It's time for your Smash podcast. As always, on the panel, we got the insightful mastermind himself, Mr. Soulking.
What is good, everybody?
And of course, we got the number one Blasian Black Asian, Mr. Supra Gee.
What's good? I'm glad to be here, man. I can't wait to get into this. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, man. It's time for that Star Wars holiday, but not the actual holiday special, because we all know that was, whoo boy. Let's not go there. Of course, Op would be here, but his fraud and butt isn't on. But he's going to be here a little bit late, so we'll still see him. And of course, we might have our special guest show up a little bit late as well. But let's go ahead and get into this. 1 week, we're right around the launch for Last Jedi. How's everyone feeling about that?
I'm pretty hyped about it. I can't wait. I'm going to see it. I'm going to go see it right when it releases.
Oh, for sure, man. I'm telling you.
I don't even think hype's the word for me, bro. I don't have words for it. I just can't wait, dude. Like, I can't, dude. I love Star Wars, bro. Like, man, I grew up on it. Like, it's insane that, like, to think that, like, they have one coming out every single year. Like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Right? Yes. You know, dude, Star Wars is one of those things that it doesn't matter whether you're a nerd or not. Like, Star Wars has become this sensation over the past almost 5 decades. Think about it. The first episode with episode 4, New Hope, came back out in the 70s. Yep. And we are now 40 years later. Like, at some point in 2020, we will have officially hit 50 years worth of Star Wars. And who knows what kind of things.
Yeah, that thing transcends generations, bro. I mean, that goes back to, like, my father's father showing him Star Wars, and my father later showing me Star Wars, and me showing as a father, like, my kid. Like,
right?
That's insane, dude. Yeah. Even though I start my kid off with the Star Wars Legos, but it's still Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? That's how, like, Star Wars have done it, dude. Like, it's
and that's one of those things, and like that's what I want to get into is like what Star Wars has done for us and the kind of impact it left. Because, you know, for me, you know, when I was a kid growing up, I was always intrigued by all the old movies that my father had in his, because he had this little box of just full of nothing but old VHS tapes, right? And one of them, he had the old Terminator series. He had the first Alien, the first Predator, all those old movies. But he had the great movies. But he had the 3 VHS box set of the original Star Wars. And as a kid, I remember watching those movies with my old man. And my old man isn't a big nerd or anything. He just thought they were really, really cool because he grew up watching those back in the 70s and 80s. And he got them, and I remember sitting down and watching them with him when I was a kid. So I remember as a 9-year-old watching A New Hope for the first time, just being completely in awe of the world that Star Wars existed in, and that galaxy, and just the universe, the space travel, everything. Then seeing the concept of the Force and the lightsabers, I was just awestruck as a kid. And note that this was probably in like 99, 2000. That I first saw these movies, right before they did the new release of the prequel trilogy, which at that time when I saw those as a kid, I still thought those were amazing. Yeah, people can hate on the prequel trilogy all they want, but for me, that was my first real growing into Star Wars, because it was coming out as I was growing up, and I was getting to experience that with what my father and my mom grew up with, seeing the original trilogy when they were kids, man. Like, being able to experience that connection from their generation to see my own generation of those movies. And now we're getting another one with the new trilogy to continue on. You know, that's, you know, from when did episode 3 last, when Revenge of the Sith, early 2005 or whatever? That's almost been that's almost 10 to 12 years later that we're getting another trilogy. That's a whole brand new generation of kids growing up from there that are going to get to see that. So you have 3 generations of trilogies for 3 different generations of families and people to experience the phenomenon of Star Wars, because it's been going for so long and past this time gap. It's amazing to see that, and it's impacted me because it's really brought my love of sci-fi. Well, I guess if you want to put it, as they call it, science fantasy, forward because there is a lot of sci-fi elements in there, but they don't hardcore explain the science fiction aspect of it like they do in like Star Trek. But still, to see it go as long as it has and the impact it's lasted on so many people, it's just phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I started Star Wars pretty late. I started around 99, 2000. But those I guess the prequel trilogy, it really helped me get into it. And then I went back and watched the first trilogy, and I think it's pretty crazy and dope. And I just love the lore behind it.
Yeah, man. For me, it was back in the mid '90s, bro. Whenever I got introduced to Star Wars, bro, I just remember like seeing the first one, my dad showing it to me, and I didn't understand it. I was just in awe, like you said, in awe about like the weapons and the space and the whole scenario and what the hell Chewbacca was, and just as a kid, bro, you can't fathom it. I was younger than you guys when I seen it. You guys said you were like 9, 10, or whatever around. I was like 5, and as a 5-year-old, just seeing that, what kid doesn't want to go into space? What kid doesn't want to use these cool weapons that were in that movie? So later, I watched them again around like right before the second trilogy came out, and that's when I got a better understanding of it. And even though I seen it back then, I loved it then. Like I even grew to love it even more with the second trilogy, even though it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It's still Star Wars, man. I love Star Wars, and that's where I started playing the games in the early '90s to the early or late '90s to the early 2000s. I just want to be engulfed in Star Wars, bro. And like now I'm passing that. Like I said, I'm passing that along to my next generation, bro. As time go on, So Star Wars is life.
Oh yeah, man. Like Star Wars is like I said, it's something that's transcended more than itself. Like kind of what we're seeing with
dude, no doubt.
With that, like what we've seen with the comic book movies, it's pulling in people who don't know those universes into such phenomenally well directed and.
You want to know something even crazier, bro? That I love seeing? It's like when you go to these, even when you go to like these late launches of these Star Wars movies, bro, you see people that's like in their 60s there, which trips me the hell out.
Yeah, they bring them out.
You don't see them out that late at night, bro, to watch a movie. You don't see them out that late because at 7 o'clock is bedtime for them. But you see them on a Star Wars release, bro, 9, 10 o'clock at night watching these movies, and I love seeing it. I love because I go when I see like an RPX or IMAX, whatever. I love looking over and I can see this old couple, and I'm just like, man, they probably were here like 40 years ago watching it, like on the first day. Like, like it's crazy, dude, to see that, and then like to see them being so caught up in it, and like it's amazing, bro. That's what Star Wars means to people, dude.
It's something that like I said, man, it transcends. It's something that people can get behind, no matter where or how old they are, or what. It's left this lasting impression, not on just people alone, but on kind of cinema and everything else, man. Like so many people have come to love this franchise, no matter what. Like everyone truly enjoys Star Wars.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and when you look at the lore of the universe and everything it has, it's so phenomenal. It's so beautiful, and what they create and strive to show in these movies is only just a tip of the iceberg on what's in there, man. Like we've seen what they're trying to show specifically with the movies. But if you start going back to the old books with the expanded universe and everything else, man, there's so much more to the universe that was taken back as canon back then and really expanded upon that we've seen glimpses of. And even though after Disney acquired Star Wars and made all the old expanded universe books now legends, they're slowly pulling a lot of those big stories and slowly pulling them back into the canon, and it would be great to see so much brought back.
Yeah, I definitely need a refresher. Sure, though.
Oh, refresher. So we're gonna talk refreshers. Because, yeah, right. Because we've all here experienced the original trilogy multiple times, hopefully, as well as
about that.
As well as the oh, so you trying to front up in here?
I seen it once. I didn't see it multiple times. Only once.
Oh, bro.
That's why I need a recap. A recap.
Well, if we're gonna break it down, let's go all the way, starting from episode 1, go through, and start up to where we are. So, with the prequel trilogy, we had the birth and we saw the beginnings of Obi-Wan Kenobi with the Master Qui-Gon Jinn. They showed that they were sent to Naboo to help protect Senator Padme, or what was her name? Senator Amidala.
Yeah, Amidala.
Amidala. And while they were there, while they were in hiding, they met a young boy, which we came to be known as Anakin, who was one heck of a pod racer, as we all know.
And mechanic.
And mechanic, yeah. Who we learned would be strong with the Force, as Qui-Gon came to show.
You were the chosen one.
And during this time, he thought that it would be best to take the boy in to train him, even though he was much later in his age as a child than most others that were taken into the Jedi Temple. And at this point, he starts talking to Padme and getting involved as a young boy, showing just what he could do. Of course, we know Anakin built C-3PO. And at this time was starting a bit of a civil war within the Republic. The Separatists were starting to show their rise. And at this point, we get brought into the conflict on Naboo, where the Separatist army actually tried to kill Senator Amidala. And at this point, Darth Maul shows up after they tried to escape. And then we had the big fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. Qui-Gon dies.
It cuts in half.
Remember, Qui-Gon gets stabbed straight through.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, it spurs Obi-Wan, and he cuts Darth Maul in half.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I now remember. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at this point,
oh no.
So after that, Obi-Wan takes it upon himself to train Anakin and do what Qui-Gon had requested to do, because he believed in what Qui-Gon said. Note that with Qui-Gon too, he was a bit of an outcast within the Jedi Order, because a lot of people saw him as, the epitome of what it means to be a great Jedi, which has the teachings of a Jedi, though they're a little bit more loose and ambiguous with how they do things, because they don't believe in everything to the strict Jedi code, as they believe in, that there's an understanding of both sides of the Force, and that you have to be able to understand both to experience and to kind of be able to control the power within. So Obi-Wan takes Anakin to the temple and lets them know that he wants to train Anakin as Qui-Gon instructed. At first, the Jedi Council was like, no. But they're like, he was thought to be the chosen one. And they're like, well, maybe. And then we go into episode 2.
Yeah.
Just like that. Transition, just like that.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clone. Yeah, Clone Wars. And then the Clone Wars was significantly much better. We see Anakin finally in his teenage years. We see Obi-Wan's a little bit more older, and that he's starting to train. Anakin is very free thinking and wild, as much as Obi-Wan tries to correct him, but and leads to kind of his downfall, because Anakin starts to be a little bit cocky. However, over this time, there's still Senator Amidala has finally been able to come out more, and she's taken Obi-Wan and Anakin as her bodyguards. So Anakin has spent more time around Padme, and at this time, we start to slowly see their blossoming relationship since he was a young child, now a teenager after spending years around her. Of course, Obi-Wan does try to forewarn about being careful about all this. And at this time, we start to see the bigger rise of the Separatist army, the coming of Count Dooku, and the possible return of the Sith. Of course, during this time, they go to the name of the planet with all the bug people. Super G, help me out here.
I'm sorry, man. I stepped back
Do
for a
it. Do it
second.
start. Do it start with a C? No, it don't start with a C.
What was the name? What was the name of the planet on for episode 2?
Episode 2? Oh, dang, no. What planet? The one with
the one with all the bugs.
Damn.
Where they were held captive. Oh man, we look so bad right now.
Dude, I was like zoned out doing something over here.
So, anyways,
just keep going. They'll come back to
Anakin and Obi-Wan get captured on this planet, and they're being forced to fight this giant beast. And of course, they're showing the powers of the Jedi and the Force. And then halfway through this fight, you see Boba Fett show up, and then you see the Separatist army attack, and then lo and behold, all the Jedi show up with Mace Windu leading the charge, as well as the clones saving them. And then Mace Windu cuts off Boba, kills Jango Fett.
Jango Fett.
Yeah.
Jango Fett. No.
Right in front of Boba Fett.
Yeah, right in front of Boba Fett. Of course, this was after
traumatizing the young man.
Traumatizing the young man after Obi-Wan had previously gone to Kamino, the always raining planet in the middle of an ocean, where they were making the clones and having fought Jango Fett himself at this point. So now, not only have they killed one of the best bounty hunters in all of the galaxy, they traumatized the poor young boy. So that's 2 for 2 on mistakes.
Hey, man, he needed to die, man. He needed to die. He was attacking Samuel, man.
You're not wrong. He was attacking Samuel.
Oh, man.
Then at this point, we see Obi-Wan and Anakin find the ship where Dooku is. They attack Dooku and just show how far their skills are outmatched. Obi-Wan gets knocked out by getting thrown halfway across the room and having a giant rafter thing fall on top of him. Anakin tries to fight Dooku, loses, and gets his hand cut off.
I definitely remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, what is this?
And then Yoda comes to save the day, fighting against Dooku.
Awesome ass fight, bro.
Yeah,
I seen that as a kid. I was nutting up in the theater, bro. I couldn't believe it. I was shaking people on the left, shaking people on the right. Like, do you guys see this? We're all watching the same thing, but I didn't care, bro. Just Yoda just yelling all over the place and jumping and flipping and swinging. It was so dope, dude.
Yeah.
You found love for Yoda after that movie.
Go ahead.
Fanboy came out.
Wait, were you referring to Genosis earlier on?
Genosis, that's
what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, found it.
Yeah. And then after all this leads into episode 3.
The high ground episode.
The high ground.
Oh my gosh.
So straight out the gate from episode 3, we see Anakin is significantly older and everything else.
Real quick, I just say that was my least favorite Star Wars movie, but go ahead.
With episode 3, we see Anakin older, and then we see the attack on the Separatist army after Palpatine, Senator Palpatine at this time, was kidnapped by Dooku, and they attack and fight with Dooku. Again, Obi-Wan gets knocked out because, I don't know, apparently he that's his thing. But this point, we see Anakin has actually perfected his fighting style and become much more aggressive against Dooku and actually bests him. And at this point, Dooku is to be taken into custody, except Anakin falls under Palpatine's guidance and ends up killing Dooku.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And at this point, we start to see the hatred, the darkness rising within Anakin. After the loss of his mother and him killing all the sand people in episode 2, after they finally find her, Anakin decides
Oh
to
yeah,
talk
didn't he
about
get
the dark dreams that
didn't
he
he get like a
has.
vision? Didn't he get like a vision in the episode prior to that
Yes, he had
about his
vision.
mother?
He had visions of his mother, and then he had visions of Padme dying, and he would talk to Samuel, Mace Windu, and then Yoda, and tell the council of his dark dreams and how he fears for what's to come. And they tell him that these are visions to come, but he must be careful not to let them be his sole guidance. But he felt that the Jedi Order wasn't listening to him or cared for what he felt. So, at this point, he started speaking to Senator Palpatine, who had treated him as a friend and as a confidant, and started talking to him over time. And we slowly see Palpatine poisoning young Anakin's mind at this point. We had already seen multiple attempts on Padme's life, even knowing that she's pregnant with their children. He isn't sure of what to do. And over time, we see Palpatine slowly telling Anakin that he is of the Sith, but the Sith aren't what the Jedi teaches them, and that the Jedi have poisoned his mind. And of course, there's the investigation into Palpatine until it's finally confirmed that he is Darth Sidious, that he is of the Sith. And at this point, while they're fighting him, you know, Obi-Wan is off fighting the remaining other separatist forces against General Grievous, who, by the way, is probably one of the coolest villains of all time. I mean, come on. You have a giant four-armed robot using lightsabers.
Coolest bishop of all time, though. They keep running away, man. That shit get on my nerves.
Hey, whoa. Calm down there, sir. Calm down.
I know, but goddamn, that man chick out every fight he gets.
But General Grievous is still pretty badass.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
Looks cool.
So at this point, while Obi-Wan is off fighting General Grievous and helping the clone army finish off what there is left of the separatists, they tried arresting Darth Sidious by arresting Emperor Palpatine, who's now taken over the Senate at this point, and trying to prove him to be a Sith. After he kills basically everyone and Anakin comes to his aid, he tells them now's the time that we must strike and end the Jedi Order. At this point, Emperor Palpatine enacts, as we all know, the infamous Order 66 for all the clones to kill the Jedi. And we see probably my favorite of all the clones, Commander Cody, turn on Obi-Wan and then try killing him. Of course, Obi-Wan gets away after nearly dying, although you think that he would have sensed the disturbance in the Force a lot sooner, but let's not go into that point. They start to see the Jedi hunts, and all the clone troopers taking down all the Jedi. Although it is kind of sad how easily some of the Jedi go down, but you do see a lot of them putting up major fights.
It was whack, honestly. That's why I say like, that's why I say this was my least favorite movie, bro. Because even how Mace Windu, when he was like talking to who was it, Palpatine or whatever.
Yeah,
like, it comes in and like cuts him down. I'm just like, whoa, like what the hell just happened? Like it happened so like I don't know, like abruptly. It seemed weird.
Limited power.
Like
That gets me every time.
right.
Yeah, and so at this point, Anakin, Obi-Wan's escaping from Commander Cody and the rest of the clones. Anakin goes to the Jedi Temple, and then we know here is where he first embraces the power of the dark side after he kills all the children.
Oh, this shit.
Yep, cuts all their pretty little heads off.
I forgot all about that. Holy shit.
Yep. At this point, give me a second.
Killing little kids. No. Oh no. Wait, I got a question. Did Mace Windu die?
Nobody knows for sure.
It was never really confirmed because like he didn't get like sliced in half or anything. He just got like stabbed and like thrown out of a window.
There's a weird theory going around saying he's Snoke, but I don't know about that.
We don't know. But after this point, you know, Anakin goes to get Padme and tries to take her away and telling her what he's done, saying that it's all right because the Republic needs to end and the Jedi Order are monsters. And Padme starts to see, you know, what Anakin has truly become. Of course, at this point, we know that Obi-Wan had snuck on the ship with her, and they meet on Mustafar. And Anakin, being mad that he felt Padme betrayed him, you know, uses the Force and pushes her, injuring her. And then this prompts Obi-Wan and him to fight to the death.
No, didn't he choke her?
He was choking her, but then he threw her at the ship.
Oh, okay. I remember him choking her. I was like, this fool tripping right now, bro. Like,
Damn.
I'm just like, hold up, bro. Like,
so now
you choking her? Like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, man. After he choked her, he threw her. Remember, he threw her at the ship. That's what really injured her. After everything.
What?
Yeah. He felt mad that Padme had betrayed him because she had went to Obi-Wan, so he started using the Force choke on her.
All I remember is he definitely got choked up. I did not know he tossed her.
Yeah, he tossed her a little bit, and then and before he tossed her, he tossed her because Obi-Wan attacked him because he was trying to get him to stop, and then that's when they started fighting all across the planet of Mustafar.
But that's because that fool thought Anakin thought that Padme had something to do with Obi-Wan being a stowaway on the ship. Because remember how Obi-Wan was trying to tell her like, hey, he's taking the dark side, he's embracing it. And she didn't believe him, so that's when Obi-Wan like he stowed away. That's my man. I get them. Yeah, he stowed away on the ship. So when he got to was it Mustafar or whatever? Mustafar. There we go. Yeah. They were talking or whatever, and then that's whenever she was trying to convince him because she started seeing the dark side. Of course, his eyes was changing colors. He was tripping the hell out, and she started seeing it. She started trying to convince him that this is all wrong and everything. And then that's when Obi-Wan like shows his face, and this is that favorite line when he says, "You brought him here to kill me." Which is like the worst freaking line. Oh my gosh! And that's when he goes around.
Kids, you're not fair. Like,
yeah, because that guy was not really a great actor, dude. He's not. I'm sorry.
But he was good in the Jumper, man.
In Jumper, dude, Jumper was a horrible movie, and I'm sorry to get sidetracked by that. But I used to put that movie on at night. When I was in my dorm room, I used to put that movie on at night just to fall asleep because I knew that movie was gonna put me to sleep.
Oh no!
I'll put that movie on, dude. Bro. But we're on Star Wars right now, not Jumper. Let's go.
So at this point, they're fighting in across the planet of Mustafar, going all from the base that they're on, jumping on robots and on broken pieces in the river of lava, fighting. And at this point, Obi-Wan jumps off, and we have the infamous words of "Don't do it, Anakin! I have the high ground." And then of course, Anakin, being the cocky dude he is, be like, "You underestimate my power," and he jumps, and of course, like Obi-Wan warned, he had the high ground and cut him off.
Wasted, man. Flip this down.
The perfect meme ever.
Yep. And right there at that point, Obi-Wan had struck down Anakin, and he fell down the asphalt close to the lava river right there. And Obi-Wan told him that, you know, that he warned him that he loved him like a brother and that he cared for him. And he's like, you turned away, that he was the chosen one. And he was meant to destroy the Sith, not join them. And of course, Anakin, being himself, just kept yelling that he hated Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he hates you. Like a little 12-year-old.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan walks away and just leaves Anakin there. Of course, if he had finished it, it probably wouldn't have happened the way it did, but we know that
probably assumed he was gonna finish sliding into the freaking lava and die anyway.
Yeah.
But
he left in there.
Because he caught on fire right after that.
Mm-hmm. But, so it's safe to assume that he thought he was gonna be finished up, and he wouldn't have to be the one to actually like
do it himself.
Would have been executing him. Yeah.
So, because Obi-Wan did truly care for Anakin deeply.
True.
Yeah. But at this point, after Obi-Wan leaves and helps Padme, he takes her to a med bay. and she gives birth.
Well,
to
hold on. Before we go there, can we stop at Coruscant and talk about Yoda and Palpatine's battle? Like,
Oh,
come on, dude.
of course, but we gotta show that that Padme had the kids, but unfortunately she did die. But while that was going on, Yoda and Palpatine did
No,
go
that was before Yoda and Palpatine was happening
while they were fighting on Mustafar.
Obi-Wan was fighting. Yeah, because remember when Yoda and they kind of like get the stalemate or like it's like a draw, and then Yoda leads with what's his name, the guy who gets Leia later, Organa, Bell Organa.
Bail Organa.
Him and Yoda leaves, and then that's when Palpatine senses that Anakin has been defeated and he's in trouble, so he leaves, and that's how he ends up getting him because he goes to Mustafar or whatever. Yeah, and he gets Anakin back. So, and then that's whenever they leave, and Obi-Wan and Yoda and all them take Padme, and she freaking gives birth to Luke and Leia, but dies of course after, and they do the funeral and all that good stuff.
But before Yoda even fought Palpatine, it was the battle on Kashyyyk where he was with the clone troopers and the Wookiees. And then when they enacted Order 66, the Wookiees were fighting off the clones, and Chewbacca took Yoda, and they left because they were friends, and they left and then came back to Coruscant where Yoda would fight Palpatine.
And then Palpatine also tells Vader that he's the one that killed Padme.
Yep.
And then that's when he's all pissed.
But if we want to go on from there, if you read the actual comics, Palpatine, the way that he would talk to Vader, he actually made Vader kind of break down and make him think that Darth Vader.
Wait, I got a question. Wait, Padme died? She got killed by who?
No. So Padme dies giving birth to Leia and Luke.
Yeah, but Palpatine tells
Vader.
Vader that he did it. That Vader had killed her.
And he kind of did though.
He did, but he told him that he killed her, and then at this point, that kind of breaks Anakin's mind into Darth Vader, and over time, especially if you read some of the comics about Darth Vader and Palpatine's kind of reign as we see the rise of the Empire at this point, that Vader's actually so broken mentally that he sees Anakin as a physical another person. So he's now suffering from split personality, but he thinks that Anakin is real and that he blames Anakin for the death of Padme and everything else because he's the one who did it all. So he feels that by shutting out Anakin as part of him, that he's killing the person who killed Padme. So when he embraces the full dark side and becomes truly Darth Vader, he feels that he's killed all of his past that wronged him, being Anakin Skywalker. It isn't until we see come episode 4 that we see Luke actually start to have an effect back on Darth Vader and his stability under Palpatine's guidance. And then, of course, in episode 4, we start out on a desert planet, just like every other Skywalker.
You know what? Before we get there, I never, even though I haven't watched the movies in a while, but I never really understood why the hell Yoda exiled himself.
Because of the fact that, remember, after Order 66 and they escaped, that this was during the Jedi hunts. So basically, a lot of the remaining Jedi had went into exile and hiding. Yoda was perfecting his semblance to the Force, because as we saw with the canon, Clone Wars TV show as well as into Rebels, Yoda actually went on a journey.
Yeah, I remember that.
And following a ball of Force energy that we now know was a connection to Qui-Gon Jinn. And when he followed Qui-Gon Jinn, he showed him where it meant how to become a Force ghost later, to be able to continue to become one with the Force and be able to guide on, as we see later. And also at this time, we start to see those semblances of the dark side of the Force, and a lot of those who are able to continue with there, because with the dark side of the Force, they can't really embrace the Force as Force ghosts, but more as amalgamations of dark energy and undying, but their bodies become scarred. The one person that was able to, the dark side, we know is Darth Nihilus and Darth Revan. But Darth Nihilus is the one who actually created the rule of two that the Sith would come to follow later on in life. But we'll get to that later. But
okay.
So come to episode 4, we find Luke on a desert planet, kind of strolling around. But at the beginning of the episode, you see there's an attack on as they say, a transportation vessel that was on a diplomatic mission that's carrying Princess Leia Organa. But as we know for real, they had sent off a ship or a drop pod carrying 2 robots that would be R2-D2 and 3CPO, with information to find Obi-Wan that would just happen to land on the one desert planet in all the galaxy that he's on.
Mm-hmm.
But these little droids get picked up by
were they like little bandits?
Yeah, kind of like bandits.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
hey, you guys, I gotta leave. I'll catch you guys later.
Oh, right, Soul's got to drop out. All right, later, Soul. Later. So, they get picked up by these little shop peddlers there in the desert that kind of start giving off about what's going on. Take them and choose to trade them. And at this point, Luke and his dad find them and buys them, even though that he thinks that they're junker robots, but he thinks he can fix them. At this point, he discovers the broadcast from R2-D2 looking for Obi-Wan. And he doesn't know an Obi-Wan, but he knows an old Ben Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, and he decides to hop in his little speeder and go looking for him. Then, of course, he gets attacked by the sand people when he's looking for him. And at this point, a mysterious hooded figure appears. And if you watch the original, who scared him off by making the sound of a crate dragon, even though crate dragons had been extinct for several millennia by this point.
Wow.
Yep. And scare off the sand people, and then introduces himself as old Ben Kenobi, but truthfully, he knows and then shows that he is Obi-Wan and tells Luke the truth of his parentage.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Man, thinking of a summary, man. Whew, we're kind of speeding through, but man, is there a lot to talk about when it comes to summarizing these movies.
We're trudging along, yeah. Trudging along.
Yeah.
Yep. So at this point,
you're doing an awesome job, because I couldn't remember and piece everything together like that. Like, as you're saying it, I'm remembering, and like it's coming to me, like pitching a little bit as the stuff that happens around what you're saying.
It's like a decade since I've seen all these movies, so my memory's shot.
Yep.
My memory's shot anyway, bro.
It's all
time
them
to forget what day it is.
Yeah.
It's Sunday, right?
See?
So at this point, old Ben Kenobi says, tells Anakin that he is strong with the Force, that he is a Jedi, and that they must leave because the Empire would be looking for him. So they hop in their little speeder, and he says, we're going to go to a place. So they go to Mos Eisley Spaceport, a hive of scum and villainy, and go into a little bar where he's trying to get information. Of course, this is where we see Ben cut off a dude's hand that's threatening young Luke. At the same time, we see the handsome, rugged rogue hero of ours, Han Solo. Talking to Greedo. Talking about how he totally didn't rip him off. And, Han shot first. Kill Greedo before he could do anything. Now, at this point, things are going crazy. The clones, or the stormtroopers, because they're no longer clone troopers at this point, are starting to look for. So they make a little rendezvous onto Han's ship, and they take off. Then at this point, they hear that they got to rescue a princess. So they make a little trip to the Death Star. Wait, was it the Death Star? Yeah, it was the Death Star.
Yeah, they got captured by the Death Star, right?
Yeah, because they went looking for it, and then they got tractor beamed in, and then they somehow, even though that they were tractor beamed in, meaning that someone knew that they were there, they somehow still
take it down.
Yeah, they somehow still snuck on. So they were sneaking through this giant, colossal space machine, and somehow able to get around relatively quickly without anyone figuring out who they were.
Right.
To finally find the princess after she was waiting for them. And at this point, there was a malfunction, and we shoot the console, break it. And then they escape by going down the random hole that she shot in the wall that led into the trash chute. Because that's how trash chutes work, apparently.
Yep. Interwoven throughout the whole contract.
Yep. It does indeed. So they hop down here. They nearly think they're going to get crushed to death by the walls, and apparently this underwater sewage monster that's like grabbing at them. They stop it because R2-D2 is doing his little thing. They escape, and they run back to the Millennium Falcon. And at this point, we see the epic showdown between Darth Vader and Ben Kenobi. That was one of the first cool lightsaber battles.
Wait, did he get hit by Darth Vader? Like instantly disappeared. Like, am I remembering that correctly?
Yes.
Like, what was that?
Well, as at this point where Obi-Wan says that if you strike me down, I'll be stronger than you ever imagined. When Vader strikes him down, Obi-Wan actually becomes one with the Force.
Yeah.
And that's how he was able to become a Force ghost. Because during his exile, he actually tried to connect with the Force. And at this point, when Vader thought he had killed him, he actually, gave up his self-being to become one with the Force. So not only did Vader think that he struck him down, but Obi-Wan actually robbed him of him ever actually being able to kill him, because he had become one with the very Force that he was supposed to listen to.
Okay.
And at this point, they escape, and Luke is sad about old Ben Kenobi, and then they get taken back to Rebel headquarters.
On Yavin. Right,
on Yavin. Yavin 4.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, on Yavin 4, they talk about what they need to do, and then they start the illustrious attack on the Death Star to lead into the full-on Rebel assault that we all come to know. And with Luke being the skilled pilot that he was, they all lead out there, and he's a part of Red Squadron. And of course, Red Squadron, Gold Squadron, and a few of the others that were there. Mm-hmm. Han says that he wants no part of it and leaves.
He just wants his bread.
Wants bread out. Yep. So this part we lead into the assault. There's X-wings everywhere, TIE fighters everywhere. Everyone's shooting at things. They're making runs in the trenches, taking down all the towers that they can, knowing that there's that one exhaust port that they need to make the shot on. At this point, and Luke isn't sure if he's able to do it after his two running mates are taken down by other TIE fighters. And out of nowhere, we see the return of the Millennium Falcon. But of course, at this point, too, Darth Vader was out there showing that he's an ace pilot himself, having been chasing him on. Mm-hmm. And when Luke wasn't sure that he was going to be able to make the shot and be able to do it after the sacrifices of everyone, he hears from Obi-Wan himself to trust the Force.
Space magic.
Yeah, space magic. And instead of using, the aiming thing that he had been using, he shut it all off and then just trusted the Force and fired and was able to make the shot. At this point, the explosion triggers the explosion of the Death Star. Darth Vader gets knocked away and his TIE fighter sending off into the drifting of space, and everyone else makes it back to Yavin 4 to celebrate and get medals, except for Chewie, because Chewie doesn't get a medal. And that's the end of episode 4.
On to the next.
Episode 5 was the one I I can remember very little of. For me personally.
Oh, you were doing a summary, so both our memory is shot. So,
so on to episode 7, right? This is the one that everyone's most remembering of. It's basically just a recap of episode 4, but with just a woman. There we go. Episode 7 done.
Yeah, pretty much.
But still, though, even with them having done a recreation of episode 4, basically for episode 7, it was so phenomenal and spectacular to see the way good. That it was. Like, it really was a great to kind of see the return to Star Wars and get that comeback. Now, with episode 8, you know, there's been so many rumors about everything that's going on. What do y'all what are y'all's kind of like guesses or theories of what's going to happen in episode 8? Because they've already confirmed that Snoke is stronger than Palpatine ever was. So we do know that there is a truly strong villain. We still don't know much about Snoke.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see because we're going to see more about him, see where he comes from.
Did someone mention that he had like more resources too, as referring to like how he's more powerful than Palpatine?
Yes.
I think someone say that. So I'm not sure you mean like power level or like resources like as advantage, like as well.
No, they said that his connection with the Force, he's stronger than Palpatine ever was. Okay. So he's much more connected to the Force than Palpatine. So there's theories that Snoke is an ancient Sith, like the actual race of the Sith that's been around since the Republic, since well before the Republic.
The Old Republic.
Well, not the Old Republic, because the Old Republic was about 5,000 years before the Galactic Republic in the prequel trilogy. Okay. Remember, from the prequel trilogy to the New Hope, the original trilogy was only about 30 or 40 years.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. But during that time, Emperor Palpatine had spent so much of their time erasing all records of the Jedi, or by spreading stories that the Jedi were evil and monsters, and that, you know, with none of the Jedi there to counteract him, it was quick for that information to be spread as truth.
Okay.
Which is why the Jedi are so seen so badly in the rest of the original trilogy, until we kind of see their rebirth in the new trilogy now. But we see that Luke is trying to refound the Jedi Order. But as we saw what happened with Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, that the Jedi Order and its teachings may not necessarily be the way for the future. And as we know from the trailers, he states that it's time for the Jedi to end. Now, what he means for that, we don't know. A lot of people believe that they're going to embrace more of the ways of the Grey Jedi and not follow the old Jedi code. Because a lot of people have talked about
That's what I think. Honestly, I think that because the old Jedi code, no one sticks to it, and it's just I don't know, dude. It's
very cultic when you think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But and that's the interesting thing about the Grey Jedi is that while the Jedi code is very cultic and based on, you know, breaking away and having no semblance of anything and
really embracing order. You're not even like a lie, dude. You're like a I don't know, just like this random person that comes out, saves the day, and go and vanishes. Like you don't exist.
It's night.
But at the same time, if you look at the Sith, they're very fanatical, while the Jedi Order embraces order and systematic. The Sith embrace chaos. But at the same time, that chaos is what destroys them and yet boils them to do what they do. However, they're so built into the chaos that it's uncontrollable. And that's kind of where the teachings go. But we've seen now with the poster that we see both Luke on the side of good, unhooded, and then we see him on the side of bad, underneath the dark side, hooded over, more mysterious looking. So I think that the belief of him embracing more of the Grey Jedi, that he's looked into the power of the dark side, because he didn't suffer from it when he spent time with Yoda.
Yeah, because Yoda was telling him if he left at that time before he completed his training, he would probably suffer the same fate that his
Anakin
father did. Yeah,
Dear
exactly.
old daddy.
Because he wasn't ready.
Yep.
So I mean, that led him to, he still left. So I mean, that possibility could still happen. Where that's another reason too of his exile, like what he was just discovering along in himself, like in his mind, and trying to balance that light and that dark. Because I'm pretty sure he has the dark inside of him, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out in this movie, and then that's gonna have people like whoa, like he has them like both powers, and that's what
we're gonna see Kylo Ren truly embracing the power of the dark side and growing stronger. We get to see Snoke. We hear about race parentage. They confirm that there is going to be a new lightsaber color that we haven't seen before, so that'll be interesting to see.
It's gonna be pink saber. Calling it right now. Feminism all the way. Let's go.
Yeah, but you know it from the tones and the way that they put out the trailers, it is more bleak. It is definitely going to be Empire Strikes Back, but I think it's going to be turned up to a whole nother notch. Like the way that they've showed it's a lot more bleak for the heroes, for the light side coming up against the First Order. So it is going to be interesting. And at this point, you know, where the new trilogy is taking place, you know, it's taking place in the old legacy series of novels, what happened after the original trilogy. And at this point, you know, Luke was stronger than Anakin ever was. Like Luke was absolutely powerful, but he did fall to the dark side for a while because he did go looking for old Sith temples to understand. But
was he like the fastest Jedi there is too?
Huh?
He looked like the fastest Jedi there is too.
Yes, he was. But like I said, he was more powerful than Anakin ever was. But he did fall to the dark side, but he was trying to understand because he went to the old Sith temples to find information and understand about the dark side. And when he did, like he would later embrace the full gray Jedi.
Well, yeah, I was going to say like Luke's training went so much more better too, as leading to his power to be more stronger than Darth or Anakin, because he stayed with the light a lot longer than Anakin did, you could say, and then he also was getting training from beyond, like with Obi-Wan, you know, still instructing him even like way later in his life because of the whole link they had. Because Obi-Wan, I mean, by that time Obi-Wan had, we don't even know what Obi-Wan had seen, what he had learned, and the whole process of him being Ben Kenobi and whatnot, you know, his hermit stage or whatever.
Yeah. Come on, some flashbacks of Luke.
Still teaching Luke, because even in what was it, Empire Strikes Back, he was still teaching Luke then and telling him to go to this system, and he's the one that told him where Yoda was, and you know all that. So he was teaching all the way through, man, even after he was gone.
Yeah. Come on, flashbacks of Luke in his prime after like the collapse of the Empire, just fighting like random skirmishes and battles. Just see him in action. That's what I want to see, but I doubt we'll get that.
Hey, don't doubt it, man. It could be like a Luke Skywalker movie later on. I mean, look, they're giving Han his own movie now, and I'm praying for that Boba Fett movie, and even a damn Darth Maul movie, and just keep it coming.
Yeah,
I love the characters. There's so many good characters.
There are a lot of great characters. There's definitely so much around, and in the history for Star Wars to touch in the lore. Because when Disney acquired them, you know, they wrote off all the expanded universe novels as legends now, and you know those are all non-canon. However, with things that we've seen, you know, we've slowly been seeing that they're pulling things from the legends and making them canon. Like when they brought back Darth Nihilus in this episode where Yoda was learning of following Qui-Gon's force ghost to learn about how to become a force ghost himself and to embrace that. He felt the power of the dark side and felt Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus, we know, is one of the few dark side to ever be able to do that. And Darth Nihilus was different as a Sith because during the time of the Old Republic, the Sith were a large order similar to the Jedi. It wasn't until about half a millennia, about 500 years after the fall of the Old Republic, that Darth Nihilus rose and actually decided to change the way that the Sith worked. He said that all those who claim to be Sith, because Sith was originally a race of force-sensitive creatures that had a touch with the dark side. the Sith were fallen Jedi who came to the Sith world, understood their teachings, and made it more chaotic, more embracing of the dark side, embracing one's, stronger feelings, passion, anger, all that to feed into their power. But Darth Nihilus would come into power one day, and he would kill all the Sith and state that the true Sith, there should only be two. Only those powerful enough to overpower their master should ever exist. So he took on an apprentice of a strong Sith warrior, and they killed the rest of the Sith. And he stated that this rule should be the one to prove who's the most powerful Sith of all time. His apprentice would eventually come to take on an apprentice of their own, and he would try to rise against Darth Nihilus. However, Darth Nihilus would kill his apprentice, but his apprentice's apprentice actually stood by him because of the fact that he was actually able to go toe-to-toe with Darth Nihilus. And Darth Nihilus said, "I like you," and took him on as his own apprentice. Eventually, that apprentice would get one of their own and then attempt to fight Darth Nihilus again and actually win. And Darth Nihilus was happy with the outcome because now he knows that the Sith will grow ever stronger if those who keep outpowering their master are able to do so. So he created the rule of two. Now, during the Old Republic era, we saw this kind of fall into place with Darth Revan and Darth Malak, especially if you look at the old games. So we've seen that Darth Revan has been made canon because he also appeared alongside Darth Nihilus at this time. But Darth Revan is one of those ones that's kind of an interesting aspect. And with them, after they announced this trilogy, we already know that they want to look at other movies and other trilogies that are outside the Skywalker saga, because after this movie, they plan to end the Skywalker saga of movies, right?
Yeah.
And there's been rumors and talks that after all this, that Daisy Ridley is only going to do episode 9 and then she's done. So with not knowing what's going to come after this, if they do a new series, they are talking about looking at some of the older movies or doing something old. So seeing them do an old Republic era of stories will be great. And with the fact that they're also doing these one-off movies, as we saw with Rogue One and now the Han Solo movie and anything else they could do, it would be great to see some of the other big legends throughout the Star Wars universe be told. The story of Darth Nihilus would be a great one because he's the foundation of the rule of two for the Sith. Seeing Darth Revan during the Old Republic would be great because Darth Revan actually was a fallen Jedi who helped to create and establish the Sith Order, with a lot of other Jedi that felt that the Jedi Order didn't care about the war during the Mandalorian Wars way back in the day. And he and Darth Malak would fall to the
bottom pit.
Yeah, to the bottom pit that would lead them to the dark side and create the Sith Order and really embrace that. But however, he was able to redeem himself during everything, even when others would fall. And then, of course, there's just so many stories that could be told through all that. There's still the rise of seeing, Palpatine's beginning. We've seen the books about it, but, not really getting to see his full comings up on what led him to the dark side and him being as powerful as he was. There's so much lore that could be told.
That's what gives me hope, and that's why I'm excited that we're going to get a Star Wars movie every single year, because everything you just spoke on, bro, could be portrayed in movies so that we can watch. Yeah, I mean, just think about like a movie, because I love Obi-Wan, dude. So just think about a movie where you have Obi-Wan like going around a galaxy looking for Darth Maul, because we all know that Darth Maul survived their encounter or whatever, but like how he has the spider legs or whatever they call them legs, and they fight later, and he just keeps going and going, and Obi-Wan ends up fighting his mom, his brother, his whole family, pretty much, bro. Like watching that instead of just like reading about it and stuff like that will be so epic for me, bro.
Well, we kind of saw some of that in the Rebels TV show.
Is that show good?
Movie form.
Is that show good? Because I don't even watch it.
Yeah, the TV shows are actually really good. Both Rebels and the old Clone Wars cartoon were really good.
Oh,
Both
yeah,
of them
I
are
love that
phenomenal.
You remember the old Clone Wars TV show back on Toonami? It was like years ago. That's like my favorite all time.
Yeah,
Star
but
Wars animated.
Rebels is definitely phenomenal. We got to see the Inquisitors, which are
Yeah.
an interesting aspect that was added to the lore, as well as we got to see more of Ahsoka. Ahsoka was such a phenomenal character that they added during the
That's
Clone
another one.
Wars. That it was sad that we didn't get to see her in the live actions. That she was such an afterthought. But even with that fact of her being after everything, the fact that they made such a well done character that stood the test of the series from all through the Clone Wars and through Rebels, and we get to see her fall from, you know, being just a normal Jedi to understanding everything else that's happened and embrace that great Jedi aspect of things and still be so strong and true to everything. It's phenomenal. I would love to see a movie of her.
Yeah, she doesn't get her due justice because she's a really good character. I always want to see more of her.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, with everything that's coming on, there's so much that of the universe that can be explored, from the older public to even movies post, you know, the legacy era right now that we're in. There's so much that could be done.
But yeah, they have a
And
lot. They have a lot they can touch up on though. It's all up to them if they want to do it.
yeah, and we've seen some of the stories that could be told, like within some of the games too. You know, Force Unleashed is canon, but also kind of not canon, because even though Starkiller himself, and the way that the games played out isn't canon, Starkiller is, because he's a clone of Galen Merrick. Galen Merrick is talked about in the canon now, so we know Starkiller exists in some form through Galen Merrick.
Right. Sorry, I got to be right back. Someone's knocking on the door.
Yeah. But with that aspect being done, you know, there's still so much that they can talk about and show. Like with that alone, it would be great to explore more of that and add him fully into the canon, as well as looking at some of the other things that we might not know. You know, with the fact that they redid how they got the Death Star plans, with Rogue One, they can go back and re-explore the story of Kyle Katarn, because Kyle Katarn was originally an Imperial officer who became a mercenary, and was the ones who would steal the Death Star plans. But if they were to redo him and add him back into the canon, they could do so much more. Because think about it, that guy alone has almost 10 games under his name. So Kyle Katarn would be the perfect character to really explore a story if they want to add to the lore that pulls from the old Legends era.
Yeah, I think a movie about Thrawn would do.
About who?
Thrawn. Would that be successful if they do a movie about him?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool character. One of the most interesting people in the universe too. Really interesting to see something about him.
Yeah, but there's so much that could be done.
Yeah.
That's, you know, available for all this and the future. It's just crazy to think about, and think about it. That with Star Wars they could literally do anything and it would still be interesting, because there's so much that they can explore, whether from the characters that have been established to characters that we know about through the old expanded universe novels that are slowly being brought back. There's any number of possibilities on where it could go at this point.
Definitely. I am pretty excited to see what they do with it, because that's what I want to do is just keep grinding out. Oh, not grinding, but just shoehorning out movies about stuff we already know. Like just talk about stuff we haven't seen before, because there's really too much they can do with this.
Yep, there's definitely just so much to the universe that is a possibility to get to, that it's hard to imagine, you know, especially with them still stating that after episode 9 that they're going to do all sorts of craziness. You know, it boggles your mind to think about what's the possibility for everything.
And you can't help but get excited for it because it's something new.
Yeah, it's definitely something new. It's really great to see, and we're gonna see where it leads up to, and definitely get a good glimpse of what they have in store with episode 8 next week, which is gonna be simply phenomenal. Like honestly, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if our friends are going too, because they have a car. So I ain't walking past to the theater trying to see who's going.
Well, you better get an Uber or something because that's going to be something you cannot miss.
Yeah, the sad thing is, I'm in the country, so like Uber's like non-existent out here.
Oh man. What about you, Super G? What are you feeling about all this?
Yeah, he's MIA right now.
Oh yeah, it looks like he has to step away for a second.
Yeah.
But definitely there's definitely just so much to go for, man. Like it's hard to talk about some of the expanded universe because you just go on and on and on because there's just
Oh yeah,
so much. And I love every aspect, just the thought of the possibilities, because I'm wanting to explore more stuff from before. Because we know the Old Republic is canon, because when they made the Old Republic MMO, a lot of that stuff is from that era, and that's all canon. And there's just so much from there on that could be done, and especially if you look at the fact that we really should get a good movie about one of the ancient Sith masters, like the Sith Lords. Some of them are phenomenal and powerful and well-developed characters. Like Darth Nihilus alone would be such a great. Like honestly, Darth Nihilus is one of my all-time favorite Sith Lords. Like truly is one of my favorites.
didn't
And
one of them quote unquote reach immortality in a way?
yeah, yeah. It stated that some of the Siths are able to, since they're not able to become Force ghosts like those who are on the light side of the Force, that they're able to become immortal. However, it does destroy their body over time.
Hmm.
That their body can still exist even though it does slowly start to crack. And we see that with one of the characters in Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. One of them is actually his hatred is so strong within the dark side of the Force that his body is able to keep regenerating and come back to life no matter how many times he's struck down because of just how strong his power is.
We could be seeing that something similar to that with Snoke then. Because look, you looking right now, this dude's like he looks like he's already about to kick the bucket, but he's still kicking along, and he's already reported he's the strongest. He's even stronger than Palpatine. So it could be something harkening to that because he might be ancient himself.
Yeah, and with the talks already that Snoke is an ancient Sith, like one
Yeah.
of the ancient race of the Sith, it would be interesting to see him kind of show off what he's capable of.
Just imagine just like giving a little exposition about who he is and how he's still here. That'd be dope in a movie.
Absolutely.
That and show us his powers, man. Show us
Yeah.
what he can do, bro. Because I mean, if he is that old, his power level is probably like beyond anything we've ever seen with the Sith.
He's low-key the
He
biggest
probably
hater
can-
in
he
the
probably
universe.
Yeah, he probably can do so much more that we haven't seen the Sith possibly able to do because of his age and how long he's been the Sith. And
Yeah.
you know, it's no telling how if the powers like evolve later. Like, it's just so many things run through my head when I think of stuff like that. I'd be nerding out, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figure he's like the biggest hater of the universe. Be chugging along for like centuries.
Dude, we only got 1 week, man. I've been a full week, bro. Like,
Yeah.
cause I'm seeing it Thursday.
I
I am
man.
seeing it Thursday. I don't care. I'm there. $40 ticket, bro. Don't care.
Yeah.
That first night, the first night tickets are more expensive, bro. Than which is insane.
So it's gonna
Worth it.
it's gonna be something interesting, man. I'm telling you that there's so much possibilities for the future of this franchise that's left and became such a phenomenal, global phenomena. It really is a global phenomenon,
That's a
and
juggernaut.
what it's capable of and what it's going to be able to do here in the next few years. There's just so much in both directions that it could go. It's just gonna be great.
Yeah. I know as far as gonna be
Damn
coming out like
right.
crazy, you gotta avoid dinner for like 2 days.
Oh yeah, if you don't see it, you're damn right, dude.
Yeah, I gotta go silent after that one.
Yo,
Yeah.
gotta unplug phones, turn your Wi-Fi off, all that other good stuff. You just
Yeah,
you gotta be a hermit.
Yep. Come Thursday, phone's going off, staying off the internet, ain't going nowhere. I ain't looking at anything that has Star Wars in the name. Nope, not until I see that movie.
Parties. Yeah, that stuff. I'm telling you, you gotta just vanish from the face of the earth.
Pretty much.
Only people need to know you're alive, your parents, and your significant other. Ooh, I
So
can't wait, man. I can't wait. I just want to see this story untold. I want to see Kylo Ren. I love Kylo Ren, dude. A lot of people hate him because the whole like tantrum thing. I thought it was dope, dude, because that just showed you like his immaturity and that he still has room to grow, like
Yeah,
an adult. I mean, like, cause he
yeah,
was young and he received this power like really early, and he was just a brat, dude. And like, I thought it was cool because I had never seen anything like that. I mean, when we seen Vader, he was already, he was already just dark. We already knew what he was. But to see Kylo Ren like struggle with it and then like his bratty moments, I thought it was cool, dude.
yeah. Though actually, for me, it was a low point. We took off his mask. I found it more interesting when he kept it on.
Oh,
That's just
he
me.
should have kept it on. I know
Yeah.
that. Oh, man, that guy's he's kind of weird looking too, bro. So it doesn't
Yeah.
help.
I'm trying to say emo, but like that's all I can think of when I look at him, bro. I'm just trying to say it. That's pretty much his demeanor too, as well, though. Especially the
oh yeah.
tantrum he throws and everything, and the trails we've seen already with him about to take out his mom. Just yeah,
Oh yeah, man.
I guess you see how he goes.
And there's still the talks that Rey is actually Han and Leia's daughter.
I don't think so. That's just me personally. I don't think so, dude.
Well, here's a theory about it. So with the way that because a lot of it comes from the subtleties and the way that the characters interact, and a lot of it is also extracted from the breakdown of the script writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one, if you look at it, when Rey first meets Kylo, when she's captured and he's starting to interrogate her, when she's looking at him, Kylo says, he's like, I remember you. I remember that look. You want to kill me still. If it's the first time they met, why would she still want to kill him?
Mm.
And then it talks and it showed there in the script writing when Kylo had killed Han Solo and Leia had felt it within the Force, and they get back from the Starkiller base and get back to their base for the Resistance. That why would Leia run past Chewbacca, who she's known at this point for probably 30 years, having been a close friend, and go straight to Rey, who was upset about Han Solo's death, and
Yeah.
hug her? And the
I
script
thought about the
writing,
same thing when it happened, but
exactly, and the script writing, it says that when Leia looked at Rey and the teary eyes in her face, she immediately knew and ran to her and took her in a warm embrace, a mother's embrace. So a lot of theories are that Han and Leia are possibly Rey's mother, but when they saw what Kylo did when he tried learning the Force with Luke, that Leia was still a little girl at this point. So what they did was they left her on a planet far away from where Kylo knew and left her there. But they always knew where she was. But Rey
But
didn't.
wouldn't you think Kylo would know he has a damn sister?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that why do you think that he took such a fascination into with her without making it like obvious, because of the fact that with the way that he said, he always wanted her to join him because he wanted her to show the power of the other side and to take her as his apprentice, right? We saw that that when they were talking and fighting and interacting. But again, the way that he would speak, he made it sound as if they had a history, but she wouldn't remember. He would remember, but she wouldn't, because it's been years.
Mm-hmm.
And say what you will, she's probably at least 17, 18. So depending on what age they may have dropped her on the planet, she was a little girl. So she could have been, say, 5, 6. 12 years of being alone in a desert. You forget a lot of things when you're trying to just focus on surviving day to day.
But at 5 or 6, you also remember if you have a damn brother or sister, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the lasting images of your parents. Like that's where I don't know. That's just
I definitely can understand where you're coming from. Like I said, it's not foolproof, but it's definitely a strong aspect for it. But who knows? We're gonna find out next week, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be something interesting.
Yeah, I lean more to the thing that she's Ben Kenobi's daughter, dude.
You think that she's Ben Kenobi's daughter?
Yep. Just because he's known for dropping kids off in desert places. His track record, bro. He's got a pretty decent track record of dropping kids off with no damn problem.
Well, but I mean, you gotta think too that even if it was Ben Kenobi's daughter,
because Herman Ben probably was getting it on. Who knows?
Nah,
he said, damn this order.
If she's related to Ben Kenobi, it'd have to be his granddaughter.
Because, I mean, some along the lines of that. I still think they're related.
It's either she's definitely a Kenobi, or like I said, I definitely feel like if she is involved in the Skywalker saga, she still has to have some connection to that family, and I definitely could see that as being.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, not necessarily, because Kylo Ren has that connection to the Skywalker family, I guess, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to remember that in every movie, that's always had some connection because.
Well, we don't know if Kylo's gonna revert from the dark side yet.
True, but I don't know, man. It's all enticing to think about until we actually see it next week. And all I know is I'm hyped for it.
But that's the greatness of Star Wars, that we all sit here and speculate for hours and hours what stuff could possibly be, and we actually drawn into it, and we could almost fight over our ideas, dude.
Because originally Han and Leia in the books had two kids.
Yep,
they had a son.
Wasn't it two?
No, it was a son and a daughter. And
it was two boys.
No. Luke had a son too. Because Luke had a son, and then Han and Leia had a son and a daughter. Because it was Ben Skywalker, which was Luke's son, and then it was, what was the original name for Leia and Han's son? I believe it was Jace.
Yeah, it was Jace. I remember Jace.
Yeah, Jace, and then they had a daughter. I can't remember, but it was Ben and Jace always together because they grew up at the same time, and were studying at the same time. But Jace went to the dark side, and Ben brought him back, similar to what we're seeing with Kylo. But without Luke having a child, it would make sense that now they're going to put that on Rey, and that would be the connection. Because, like I said, they're pulling a lot from the Legends series, but man, it's just so much to speculate on. You can go hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories and still not even have a full grasp of the Star Wars universe. It's just so massive.
But again, that's why I said, that's why I'm stoked we're getting one every single year, bro. Because I mean, we get some kind of tale being told every year.
I know.
There's so much to dive into and so much to go off of.
I know. And if they put it in the hands of good directors and great story writers, that it can be phenomenal forever.
Endeavors and evers and evers.
And evers and evers. Well, it's about that time, guys. So let's go ahead and what's everyone doing? What you got going on, Super G?
For this week, you know what it is, man. We're gonna catch Star Wars. I'm gonna catch up on some gaming, man, and catch up on some anime. I'm stoked because we didn't get to touch on it, but My Hero Academia season 3 got announced. It's gonna have 25 episodes. Woo! Just in that season alone, so I'm stoked about that. I can't wait for that.
Season 3 in April, man. It's gonna be good stuff. Yeah.
And that's my birthday month, so it can't get any better than that, dude.
Hey.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time.
Well, I mean, did we?
So yeah.
I don't know what the hell was that. I'd be checking out sometime early in the morning, my time, So.
But My Hero is always something to bring up every time because we all love it here.
Hell yeah! But yeah, and I'm just check out the Star Wars movie, and can't wait to discuss it with you guys when you guys get a chance to see it.
Oh yeah,
that'll be epic. I'll probably see it about 3 times by the time we do our next podcast.
I'm probably gonna do the same thing because oh boy, I want to see it.
Yeah, dude, because I mean, the last one I seen it the night of release. I seen it the following morning at 9 a.m. that morning, and then I seen it that Saturday too. So I had seen it 3 times within like 48 hours, bro. It was nuts.
Oh man, that's crazy. What you got planned?
Same as Super G. Catching some anime, gaming. I'm trying to get through Assassin's Creed Origins. I think it's like the fucking monster.
Hey, take your time, dude.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, hopefully we'll be able to see Star Wars next week. But that's my plans.
Well, you better tell your friends, yo, I need a country ride because I
Well,
cannot
yeah.
miss it.
Ain't hiking on theater. Nah, that's dead.
Yep. Well, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I've actually been keeping up with Ancient Magus Bride. If you haven't watched it, man, that show's so good. It's so cute. I love the characters in it. Like it has its pretty dark moments with a lot of the things going on, but it is oh man, I can't even put it into words. Chise, the main character, is just so cute. I love that show. It's so well done. I'm so in love with it.
Yeah, that's good, bro. I have a big ass anime list and manga list I need to catch up on.
Yeah, you still need to catch up on that Alita Battle Angel, man.
Yeah, that fucking Berserk, fucking Afro Samurai, just too much shit.
I understand. All right, well, guys, it's been great, and it's always been fun seeing y'all. But we'll catch y'all next episode. Later, everybody.
See you.